Okay, back out in the dungeon. Today is Sunday, the 14th of April. Tomorrow's tax day for all those taxers. Started recapping on this last night, yesterday, right after we got done with bagging up the 529 to ship out of here tomorrow. It's going back to San Francisco, where it left its heart. And we got it all wrapped up and packaged, ready to go. And then we jumped into this because we had nothing better to do and recapped it. And we got rid of some of the wiring in here and whatever else we could manage to get. And I still got to put the power cord back in it, and this here goes to the switching network up on the rack. And I ordered some 18 gauge stranded wire, and it won't be in here until maybe Tuesday, so I still got that to do. But we did manage getting the dial and push button bezel nice looking and ready to glow. And we're going to shelve that right now and move on to another situation we need to deal with. Since we didn't power this thing up and give it a check out initially when we did the intro, excuse my hoarseness, frogginess, whateverness. Since we didn't power this thing up during the intro video because it was lacking in a lot of stuff and didn't want to go through all of that just to prove that it worked or not, we decided to go ahead and chase all the ghosts down and get rid of them, get them out of here. And we're just about ready for that right now. We got all of those in replaced. Some residual stuff to go, but since I didn't get a chance to check that out and see whether or not it was going to respond, we're going to go through and we're going to check all the IF cans on the chassis now. There's 3. So let's get this thing back in there so we can see what we're doing, hopefully. Let me give it a little block here, blockhead, and a little something to put this thing on so that we can prop it up here so we can give you a better look at what we're doing in here, hopefully. We're going to check out the IF cans in no particular order. So hopefully you can see my, let's get this over here, over there, over that way, so we can get this back in there. Okay, right here, right here. Let me get my pig sticker here. Right there. First IF, second IF, third IF. This one's got one adjustment, that one there's got one adjustment. Now this one here's got two adjustments, one adjustment and one adjustment. So we're going to go in here on pin 6 of the XXD, and on the junction of the 10K and the number 23, which is right over there. Hopefully you can see that right in there in the shadow of this capacitor. Pin 6 is right there, where right next to where 13 ties in, and that's going to be the primary of the first IF. So we're going to tie my negative lead. Just fire up my noise maker here. Hopefully you can hear it. And we're going to go to pin 6. We got tone, and we got 1.1 ohms. If you could see right there, it's showing 1 ohm right there on this primary. So what I want to do is, just for my reference, 1.1 ohm. I don't know if you can see that or not. So now we've got that primary checked out. It's okay. Now we're going to go to the secondary, and that's going to be pin 6 of the B7, which is pin 6 of the B7, which is over here. The first B7 anyway. Pin 6. There is 876. There's pin 6 right there. We're going to hook to that. And it's supposed to be a blue lead that comes off. It ties to pin 4 of the B6, and that pin 4 of B6 is same tube. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 19.4 ohms. 19.4 ohms. It's reading 23 ohms on the schematic. So primary and secondary, the first IF is A-OK. Now for the second IF, we got a white that comes off. It's supposed to be white anyway, I guess you'd call it white. To pin 2 of the B7. Pin 2 to B7, that would be this one here. Pin 2 would be tucked right down in there, and I can't get my negative lead onto that one, so we're going to go to the other end, which is pin 4 of the same tube. No, we're going to go to this one. I already did that one. Should be 8 ohms on it. That's what it says there. We're going to go to a tie point on pin 4 of the L6, and that is way over here. Pin 4 of the L6. Here's L6. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to tie off our negative lead to that. And we're going to go to pin 2 of the B7, which is over here. Pin 2, 1, 2. We got tone, 7.6 ohms. It says 8. Okay, so that primary is good. Come over here, pin 6 of the B7, that's the second B7, which is this one, 876. And we're going to go to pin 4 of the other B7, pin 4, 2, 3, 4. And let's double check here. No, that isn't it either. Just make sure here. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Don't know which way my pins are ordered. Pin 6 of the B7. 876. There's that one. And the other one is going to be pin 4, or where 30 ties in. There we go. 18.7 ohms. It says 19. Okay. Primary and secondary of the second IF is good. Now, there we go. We're going to go to pin 2 of the second B7. Pin 2. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. Get a bite on that. Pin 4 of the L6, that's a tie point. Pin 4 of the L6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just make sure. Pin 4 of the L6. Shows 50. It says 21 here. No, wait a minute. 49. So we're right on in the ballpark, playing the big game. Okay, 50 ohms. So primary checks out. All right, now let's see. Hopefully you're still in the page here. The secondary is going to pin 6 of the C6, which is over here, 876. And the other side is got a resistor in the can. I'm guessing that one there is gonna, the only thing I can find on that 35B is that it says located in the IF can. It doesn't give me a value of it, but I'm assuming standard is usually around 47K, so I'm going to use that as a figure. And we're going to come down here to the high side of the volume pot where the 2.2 meg ties to it. So that is that one down there. And I'm not going to get a tone, so I better switch this over to ohms. We're reading just make sure I'm on the right. we are, where am I here? 6,876. And we're going to be right here. 51.9 ballpark. We're in the game. 51.9. So, primary and secondary of the third IF is good. So, that winds that up for this particular, these items. So we know that they're good. We won't suspect anything is going to be wrong when we do a power up. I still need to go through and check the tubes. And I'm not going to punish everyone for that. You can see those from everybody else on YouTube. It's like paint drying, bees making wax, they're making honey. So we're going to move to that next. I'm not going to video that, and then we'll get back into some more of this other stuff. So hang in there. All right, we got the tubes cleaned up so that we can at least get them identified. Got to take a little care because you wipe the things off if you go on it with a wet rag. I lightly clean them. This one here didn't have anything. This is your audio output tube, 50L6. I use one of these little etching balls right there. Let me see if I can get this set. Comes in a set like this. All these little things here. It's got a little grit all applied to some of these. You get three different sizes here: small, medium, and large. On pretty much all of these. Some are a little wore out from I don't know. I guess I've had this about 6 or 7 years. Got it off eBay, and we managed getting the tubes all etched. So now we're going to get them tested. So hang on, there's more to come. Okay, after the tubes checked out and everything, we decided to go ahead and put this tuner back on the chassis. Got fresh rubbers on the thing all the way around. We got a tie back in there and the ground lead put on it. If you noticed here, we got some hard plastic punch-in grommets. We had to open up the holes a little bit in order to get these in. Decided to go ahead that way because these here old wires fray too bad when you get too much of them in a one hole. So we went a larger hole with a little larger grommet, plastic grommet insert through the hole. That way they don't fray on the thing, because some of those they just punched the hole and didn't bother honing them a little bit. So some of the others, like the Zenith, they manage punching them and they curl around so that they don't have a raw edge to them. So that's what we did with this one here. We're going to do similar on this here for the power cord. But in the meantime, we're going to put this aside, ass side, and we're going to bring out the speaker because I got the cones in for those. So hang on, we'll be right back. Okay, we managed to remembering where I put this thing. I think before we get going too hot and heavy on reconing this thing, we got to do a little bit of surgery, doctoring. We need to get all this cleaned up here. I think I'd rather do it now before taking the cone loose and everything, because if I get this wet, it's not going to break my heart, because it's going to come out of there anyway. Here's my new cones. I think I usually sells these in pairs, but I think, I don't know. Let me open this thing up and see what it is. Okay, I had to look a lot closer. I couldn't tell through the bag. Yeah, he sells them in pairs, so I managed to bag a couple, and we're gonna get those worked up as soon as we get this framework on the speaker cleaned up. So hang on, we'll be back. Okay, we got the speaker frame cleaned up, and we're going to get ready to tear this all apart here, the original cone. We're going to leave a section around here for the voice coil and the connection to the new cone. But first, before we do that, I haven't checked the Philco coil for viability, so we're going to do that right now. I've got the meter on in ohms. There we go. What are we reading here? 482 ohms. The schematic is saying 500 ohms, so we're playing the game. So that is good for that. So we'll set that aside. Now what we want to do, we haven't checked the audio output transformer, and we're going to check the secondary first. We're going to tie one clip off to a ground, the other one to the secondary connection to the speaker, and it's reading 1 ohm. It's got a reading, that's good. Now let's get this thing over here so you can see what the yahoo I'm doing. Now, the primary. This is the primary right here. There's one lead there, and there's the other lead right there. This one here goes off over here to the output tube, and that is 1, 2, 3, pin 3 on the output tube. This black lead over here comes over here to this lug, threaded down through there, comes over to this lug, which I'm assuming will eventually tie to chassis ground. So we're going to tie one lead off to that, and the other lead to pin 3 over here on the output tube socket. And we're reading 253 ohms, and the schematic says 230 ohms. So we're playing the game. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about the output transformer, primary or secondary, and we don't have to worry about the field coil on the speaker. We just need to get this poor puppy fixed. So we are going to do that. So hang in there. Alright, we're all set, ready to go here, I hope. Got my replacement handed it there. I think what I'll do first thing is expose the voice coil and center post of the thingy, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. There we go. We got that sucker out of the way. And she looks like she could be a little tight on one side over here. So now that we got that exposed, we can see that our height is going to be really close in there. So now what I want to do is I want to separate the original cone right around this area right here, at least for the time being. It helps to have a brand new blade in your hobby knife for this. We got a little bit of a globule of glue right here. There we go. There. Now we're separated. Let's take the rest of this here out of here. Like asshole. There we go. Now we got that all exposed. Now I need to get this gasket stuff off of here. If you can do it in one piece, it makes life a little bit more tolerable. But if not, you can always plan B it, like I do. And there we go. Now we'll clean up the rest of this ring. I got my little, I don't know, I got two of these. I forget what the hell they're called, but they're little scrapers. They're stainless steel. They come in real handy for doing the lighter stuff. Sure makes quick work of it. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Spider is looking okay. There we go. Give it a little buffing with a wire brush there. There we go. Now we got to get this crud out of the way here. And I got just the thing for that. Little dust and spray. Okay. Now let's see what we got here. Yeah, she's moving around okay. Okay, now let's see how we fit up right here. That's gonna be just fine. Let's take a look underneath here. Yeah. Now, since the hip bone is connected to the brain bone and the brain bone is connected to the sphincter bone, you're not going to be able to go all the way down to the voice coil on this thing because of these gizzy thingies. You can see the leads coming right down to here to the coil, right down through there to the coil. Now you can disconnect these here and take these loose, these braids loose right here, and completely isolate this coil from this rest of this secondary. But you got a problem with these with this damn gluing for those hair thin wires, thinner than hair thin wires. They run down here to this coil, and typically you don't want to be messing with those, so I don't. That's the reason why I take it all the way out here to the thing. Now we can take some of this excess solder and heat it up and get it out of there so that this doesn't encumber the new cone from there, because what'll happen is if you get a gaposis in there and you might get a flutter, a little flutter, you know, like a bumblebee, that will so I try to eliminate most of that by taking as much as I dare out of the original cone and leaving what is not going to be an issue later. We'll kind of go around those there a little bit, and then we'll try to remove a little bit of this excess solder here. So let me hang on, and we'll be right back. All right, managed to get all the excess trimmed out that I didn't want, and get me some 20-pound paper, bond paper, printer paper, and get 3 of them in there, close to equidistant apart as I could. It was a squeaker, but I managed. And what I did also was I raised up as high as I could that voice coil, elevated it up. The spider would only let it go so far, so I took all that I wanted that I could get, that it would give me. So we're to that point right now. I made a little flex on these things to give me a little bit more wiggle room here, so I wouldn't be locked in by those things. And now I'm going to use some of this Loctite extreme glue. It's similar to what that go-to glue that I used to use. When you touch it after it cures, it kind of feels a little bit like rubber, like it's rubberized. So it does have a little flexation to it, but it bonds like silly glue. So now what I'm going to do is try to get this thing nestled in over that. But first, we're going to put some of this Loctite glue around the perimeter here. Try not to get it on the papers. If so, you're going to have a real rough time trying to get them papers back out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of a little wiper thingy. This is out of like a popsicle stick or whatever, thinner than a popsicle stick, and I shaped it so that I could utilize it for spreading some of the real fine stuff around the edges right through there. So hopefully I don't get in everybody's way, but if I do, well, tough. So let's take a little bit of that and get it started on there. A little bit more. Yeah, this stuff here, you want to make sure that you don't get it too close to shit that you don't want stuck, because the viscosity of this thing it'll run on you if you're not careful. So be aware that if you use it, you want to make sure you get it far enough back to where if it does decide to move on you, it doesn't move into areas that you don't want it to, because it will break your heart. Okay, we got that all the way around. I think we're we're all right to nestle this onto here. Come on, there we go. Come on, there we go. Now it may not be making contact everywhere that it needs to, but as long as it's contacting in more than a couple of spots, let's see if these little clippy thingies now what I'll do is in a couple of few hours, whatever, I'm not sure what the cure time on this is. Press firmly together for 5 minutes. Do not take internally. First aid. Yeah. So I've noticed that. Give it a good hour. Go off, have a cup of coffee or two or three, have a burger, fries, milkshake, satisfy yourself, do whatever. Give it at least an hour, and it should be cured up enough to where you can manage moving it around. And then what I'll do is we'll pull the papers out of the voice coil in center post, and then we'll go in there and touch up those areas that don't seem to have any but it looks like it's making pretty good contact all the way around. Now if you have a problem with that thing giving you a little buzz there where those things are contacting, later on you can put a little bit of that glue around that thing to kind of help stiffen it up and keep it from buzzing. But I haven't had one yet that did me dirt. But you know what they always say, it's always the first time. Yeah, with me, yeah, it could be the second time, third time, and the fourth time. So anyway, there's that. So now, let's see, it's getting close to noon. I would imagine the masters start their broadcast at noon, maybe 12:30. Go in and give a quick look and see who in the heck is falling behind and falling flat on their face, and who's taking over the lead. And let me see, what else is there that I gotta get? Oh, I gotta clean up the loop antenna. and get it reshaped. So other than that, we're getting pretty close to be able to start this thing up and see what we're going to get out of it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next full segment of video. Have a great Sunday.